been a person of color for all 43 years of my life, but I am not the person of color today that I was a year ago or a year and a half ago. This period of racial injustice reckoning that we're in right now and that we've been in for the last while, it has fundamentally changed so many of us. So one, we have experienced nervous system dysregulation, not just related to COVID, but from the compounding effects of seeing of having more of a spotlight on people of color being killed, harmed, discarded, socially discarded, and disproportionately dying from COVID. And it's more amplified and present for us now than we may have previously known. And for many of us in this space of grief and challenge, we're finding our voices, or we're raising our consciousness and our confidence. And we might not know how we're going to show up at work in person, post-pandemic, post George Floyd murder world, and where people are talking about DEI, we're finding our voice and our stance around it, but we haven't actually haven't actually had the experience to play that out in person with each other. And that, when you couple that with the complexity of the fact that many of us are also concerned about microaggressions ramping up when we return to work, and we may have felt safe and buffered when we were working from home, or biases that were less obvious when we were working remotely, or the knowledge that we may have to code switch more, be less authentic, so that we're viewed more favorably. Those kinds of things are also threats in the environment. And so I'm using the example of BIPOC here, but you can use and apply this to any example of any diverse professional or people with different lived experiences. So for example, it applies to mothers women who are mothers and caregivers who carried an enormous load during the pandemic, and may very well have to continue to do that while having the added responsibilities of returning to in-person work. And I think of the 2 million women in the US who left the workforce due to job loss, yes, but also the untenability of the added workload that they were shouldering. So lots and lots and lots of different reasons why people are feeling anxious about returning to work, or have mixed feelings about returning to work, have worries and stress.